Hey, good Monday afternoon, everybody. It's April 17th on Monday, and I just got to share some really cool stuff with you. I've been really thinking a lot about this song that was written and sung by Van Halen years ago called Runnin' with the Devil, and that's apropos for today's shout out, right? So, there's so many... I was with my men's group Friday night. We were doing some axe throwing, and we were just having a great time. We ended up at a friend's driveway with a little bonfire going on, just having a good time, sharing stories and stuff like that. And one of the guys in the group, Adam, says, "Man, you really know scripture and stuff like that." It was a really nice thing to hear because I do spend a lot of time reading the Bible. I just enjoy it. It's what calms my mind, and keeps me centered, as I've been saying, trying to stay congruent with God's plan for my life instead of trying to be selfish and greedy and work my own plan. So what I wanted to share with you is in Scripture, I think it says Isaiah 48:13, it says, do not be afraid. I will guide you. I will take you by your right hand and be with you. Do not be afraid. So, when I read Scripture, I was taught to read it literally word by word and break the sentences down and really dissect what it is that's being said and think about it for a minute. Just rest on a couple of sentences and see how that impacts you. And what that tells me, when in Isaiah 48:13 it says, do not be afraid, I will be with you, I will guide you by your right hand. That means God is always on my right side, right? So anytime I need him, I can always look to the right and know he's right there when I need him. Now, the good thing about this is that in Scripture, it always says, I will never leave you and I'll never forsake you. God is here for you. If you invite him into your life, you have free will. You have a choice of either letting him do that, come into your life and play a role in it every second, every day, or we can kind of go out and do our own thing and then kind of report back to him on how well that went. I've done that plenty of times, and it didn't go so well. So what I wanted to share with you is, God is holy, right? He does not sin, he does not lie, and he's incapable of doing anything dark, negative, and immoral, right? So the only thing that will separate us from God is us. And my desire to go chase Satan and run with the devil, right? Because if I choose to run with the devil, he'll have a boat ready for me all the time to take me to whatever island I want and go tear it up and have a good time until I'm miserable. And I come crawling back to God going, get me out of here. How many times we've been there? I know you have. We've all been there, right? So you might be saying to yourself, well, I'm confused. God said he'd never leave us or forsake us. That's right. He will never leave us or forsake us. But the only thing that will separate us from him, the only thing that will separate me from him, not him from me, but me from him, is if I decide to go off on a different path and chase, the sin and ways of limit and, running with the devil, right? So the best thing about this whole thing is God is always within earshot distance. Even if I am running and gunning, doing stupid stuff, and if I chose to, not stay congruent with him, God says that he paid a mighty price for you. He paid his life for you, and he doesn't take it lightly. And he will stop at nothing to make sure that you are with him for eternity in heaven. And even if you're out running and gunning, all you have to do is turn around and say, forgive me, right? Forgive me, Father. I screwed up. I need you back in my life. And boom, he's right there grabbing your hand and guiding you. So don't get confused with him saying, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. He'll never leave you, but he can't be around sin. He cannot be around the dirty things and the stupid things that we do when we're not in congruency with him, if that makes sense, right? So always look to the right. He's right there. He'll never leave you nor forsake you. He'll guide you by your right hand. And don't go running with the devil, man. Look, it's tempting. My grandpa used to say all the time, it's a lie. It's a lie. I never figured out what the heck he was talking about. All throughout college, he always used to say, oh, that's a lie. That's a lie. I'm like, who's lying? Well, it was Satan. Satan's full of lies, So anytime, he was tempted to do things, he died sober at 92 or 93 years old and hadn't had a drink in probably 25, 30 years or something like that. And but it's tempting. We all have temptations, and we all do silly and stupid things by giving into temptation. But it's listening to those lies about how great it will be to ride in the boat with Satan and do all that stupid stuff. Don't listen to those lies. That's just what they are, right? So just look to your right, ask God to forgive you. He'll come back, guide you by the hand, and lead your steps if you just invite him into your life to allow him to do that. You got to invite him. Look at my eyes. You have to invite him into your life. He's not going to just jump in and just put himself on you. He's given you free will. And hell, by the way, was never meant to be for humans. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that. Whether you believe that or not, hell was not designed for humans. That's our choice. We have free will. We have a choice of one of two things. We can either spend eternity in heaven with him, or we can go down south because we've chased those lies and we're running with the devil. Don't do the latter, do the former, okay? Just want to share that with you guys, man. I'm all pumped up right now. Talk to you later, man. Be brave, be strong, go get what's yours.